we'll show you some examples. Bear Brick is, those of you that know Bear Brick, it's a series that comes out of these plastic little bears. And the bears always are unique in special ways because there's plain ones, you know, that just say Bear Brick. So sometimes you can get that. It's also by chance. So when you pick up one of the bears, you don't know what you're going to get. There is a certain percentage of them that are any one of these things in the series. So there are some that are a flag. There are some that are a texture. There are some that are superheroes. There are some that are horror villains. There are some that are inspired by artists. There are some that are known to be cute. So these are all the different, there's a sci-fi one also. So these are all the different types of Bear Brick that you can get. And then also sometimes you can get a Bear Brick that is a special edition where Bear Brick partners with a group. I got this Bear Brick here, and I bought him in Korea, and he was kind of a fun one because he was a pattern, and he was done by a group called Lemon Soda. Yeah, and if you look closely at him, it is just a repeat constantly of the F off words. So that's who he is and what he says. And he came both in this red color here, and then he also came in this color here. And these are two bears I'll show you. I've got two of the bears here. These are mine. I bought them and I quite like them because, you know, they're quite fun. And I take them and I put them places when I keep them in my bag, and sometimes like I take photos of them in multiple locations. So what I like about like a photo like this is they're being so sweet to each other and embracing each other, but literally they're just also telling each other to F off at the same time. So it is a kind of real twist on what the story is. And here he is in Korea. He's rolled up in some sushi, and this is a Korean ballerina who is going to chomp down on him as sushi. And you can see I also have a little Godzilla one, and he was quite fun to have on the plate with the sushi. Yeah, so he could be there as well. And, you know, he's quite popular if you're having a drink or having soju. And this is just another posed photo where this group of them have come together. The little pink one in the bottom is called a jelly bean. It's another type of style where it's just a kind of fun color, and it's a kind of ombre of colors in that. Yeah. Some of you I know are costume designers, so I'll show you this bit of fashion here. This is a deconstructed Louis Vuitton bag, and this is quite great because what you see with the bag is that there are actual holes put into the bag. So this is the way you get it when you buy it brand new, that it is made with these holes to look like it has been ripped up. And you can see that the lining of the bag, which actually says Louis Vuitton, is right there too. So anyways, that's kind of groovy and cool. Someone might say that even ripped jeans in a way are a kind of deconstruction, that we might think, oh my God, they're so fashionable because here I've spent a lot of money on a pair of jeans that look like they're just almost at their end of their life, but they're at the beginning because there's something that they say, and they say the story differently. You know, I can remember my mother the first time I showed up with ripped jeans that were new, and she said, who would buy jeans? Like, she just couldn't put her head around, you know, she was born in during the Depression. She couldn't put her head around buying clothes that were worn out. So again, deconstruction and postmodern with the belief. I'll scoot this camera back. I'll show you this jacket I'm wearing. Also here is, if I can get the jacket a little lower here, this is a kind of deconstructed jacket that you can see that different parts of it are not finished And they're just left. This is one of the most tailored pieces of clothing I have. I bought this in 2003, this jacket, and it even has all of the working buttons here. And you can see that it's all just kind of put together, and it looks like it was just like buttons were replaced with other color buttons. And someone could say it's kind of a mess as a jacket, but at the same time, someone could say there's such detail done with it and choices made with the jacket that it's not just like any jacket. It's really tailored, and it's really a fantastic piece. So again, even in fashion, sometimes people will deconstruct so that we see the fashion world differently, and we just find a different interpretation for it as well. That sometimes also happens in costuming, where people want to see the body more, so that they'll deconstruct, like this jacket here, where we can then deconstruct so that we can see more of the figure and see it in a different way. The main thing with all of it is that you'll notice that there's postmodernism and post-structuralism all over the place. And like I said, we live in a post-structural contemporary world where these ideas mix all of the time, and there's examples of it. And sometimes we're challenged by the examples, like they don't make sense to us, and sometimes we think that's the most fantastic thing that's happening with an example like this. I tend to adore these ideas of these challenges to the world, and how someone has taken something and changed its story so that we see it differently. Yeah, so I want to show you some jewelry. These are some simple bangles, and you can say, oh, it's just a bracelet that fits, and it's kind of great. Really simple, nothing much to that. Yeah. And these are just made out of metal and aluminum casings, you know, that were just turned into this. And someone could say, well, this is by a company called Article 22. And Article 22 is a company in Laos. Now, in Laos, 250 million bombs were dropped on Laos, an unbelievable amount. And 80 million of those bombs failed to detonate, so that there are these bombs that are sitting there. And part of what this company does, and what has happened in Laos, is people have taken the bombs and the materials for the bombs, and they've now made them into other things. This company, Article 22, makes them into jewelry. So I quite like them because it changes the story of this metal. It deconstructs it. What used to be a bomb that was there for destruction of life, instead now is something that lets us celebrate the beauty of life and lets us, you know, perhaps feel more beautiful ourselves when we wear them. So that's one great little example. And then let me show you another one, because many of you, we've been working on knitted things, and I've shown you some of my knitting things. Here's another thing that I do knitting, because I thought, well, this would be kind of a fun way to also deconstruct knitting, because so often knitting is just yarn. So if I want to knit something, I'll go to the yarn store, and most of the time, if you're doing fabric, that's what you need to do. It's like, I need a yarn that will do this, yeah? Well, I looked at all of the plastic bags that were showing up in my house. You know, just that whenever you went to the grocery store or anywhere else, you would end up with all of these little plastic bags. And I was collecting them and putting them and trying to reuse them or recycle them. And then I thought, well, I know something I can do with them. So I took them and I cut them into these circles, and I have made a yarn out of this. And I just kind of cut the bag so that I could put the loops together. You see that there's these tiny little knots where, like, I put them together the way you put together like rubber bands, where you slip them together and it's like, oh, that makes a string. together with that so that you get that. And here you can see I've started to knit this bag. Yeah, really tight weave here. Each of these colors you can see is the different type of bag. So these blue and whites are Albertsons bags. These are red Target bags. This blue here is Best Buy. And then you can kind of see even this color yellow, and there's even this green here that Dollar General has that color bag. So I've just kind of used that to just knit this bag together. What my hope to do with this is to finish it and put these handles on it and make a bag that then you can carry to the store, and then you can not use their bags, so that I make a bag out of the bags. And so again, that's a deconstruction. What I also like about it is this idea of the bag is a bag, is former bags. And this precious bag is made out of those disposable bags. You know, so this thing that we would throw away and hope that it didn't get into the ocean is now something that someone might think, oh, that's really cool and that's really precious. So again, I'm changing the story with that deconstruction. And we'll end with this picture because this is another, the bag is made of bags. That's a kind of postmodern conundrum thing. Sometimes you can go and you can have a drink like this. Like you can order a margarita that has this mini Corona beer in it. And again, this is a kind of deconstruction. And I love this idea that the drink is having a drink. So that is postmodern and post-structural and changes the way we think about the story, because typically we're the one having the drink. And this is great because we're having the drink, but the drink is also having a drink at the same time. So anyways, postmodernism is fun, and it's a challenge to understand, but it also allows so much flexibility and so much of a challenge for the world. So chapter 8, we're moving to the end.